Enlisted is a free-to-play squad-based FPS made by Gaijin.net, or as you guys may know, the creators of War Thunder, where you take control of your own customizable squads on the battlefields of World War II. The game features several different squad types such as engineers, radio squads, machine guns, and many more, which we'll go into more detail about later. The game features the US, USSR, Germany, and Japan as the playable factions, and although being an FPS in the purest form, the game adds a unique spin where you will be equipping, managing, and upgrading your own squad through your time playing. Enlisted features a few different game modes, with the main mode being your typical push mode, much like Battlefield's Rush game mode, or Capture the Point, much like Call of Duty's Domination, but over a much larger battlefield. It's important to note that each squad on both friendly and enemy teams will have only one real player, and the rest of their squad mates will be controlled by AI. This adds a very nice level of casual PvP to the game that isn't typically featured in other FPS where all players are either fully AI or fully player controlled. But do keep in mind that custom matches are available where you can access full PvP game modes as well. As I said before, enlisted squads are made up of one real player and the rest will be AI controlled in the traditional squads game mode. This creates a low barrier for entry, which can be really nice for new players. I found that with squads predominantly being AI controlled, you can do well much more consistently, which can be a huge pro for more of the casual players out there. The system also gives the game the ability to have large-scale feeling battles while only needing 20 to 24 players queued up for a game, which makes for snappy queue times. The ability to upgrade and manage each squad mate in your squad is really nice, and it really lets you experiment with how you want your squad to play. Some squads can add different types of troops outside of the general squad label. For example, I have an infantry squad filled with riflemen and assault class soldiers, but my squad skill tree allows me to add a slot for an engineer in this squad. Provided that I choose this on my skill tree, I can now add an engineer to my infantry squad so that I can help my team by building rally points, defensive structures, and ammo boxes while not using an engineering squad. You also have the ability to personalize all of the equipment of each soldier in your squad within the bounds of that soldier's specific role. This gives a very nice level of customization and progression to work toward, and a great way to ensure you play how you want to. Enlisted also features vehicle squads, whether it be APCs, tanks, trucks or bikes, and even airplanes. My personal favorite vehicle squads to play are tank or airplane roles, and they add a satisfying way to work with your team in hard pushes by marking targets or supporting heavy armor as infantry. Another great pro in this game is the maps in this game are pretty fantastic overall. I've yet to run into a map that I really don't like, and despite the graphics not exactly being top tier, I do think these maps blow Battlefield 5 maps out of the water for the most part environmentally. With all that being said, let's move on to the cons. The grind. Any of you War Thunder players probably already know where I'm going with this. The grind for new equipment is just short of brutal unless you're constantly performing very well. It can take quite a long time to get down into the tier 2, 3, and 4 equipment you want, and considering there's 4 factions with their own separate research trees, it can be overwhelming and unmotivating if you're doing poorly a lot or aren't using premium. This is by far one of the biggest downsides of Enlisted for me so far. However, it hasn't been a deal breaker, and my advice is if you enjoy the game, just pay the $10 per month for premium, which will net you double XP toward your research tree, and you should be just fine with that. The next con is that the AI are nothing short of stupid, and they will frequently block your shots, give away your position by standing up while you're prone, or just run around with their heads cut off. And sometimes they'll switch from being stupid to being more aware of their environment than John Wick and spin around and headshot you before you can say Wick. This can be extremely annoying at times, and sometimes you feel like you died due to your AI squad mates just being generally dumb, and although it doesn't happen all the time, it certainly happens enough to be on the con list. Another huge con of this game is from what I've seen mostly on YouTube from more veteran players and also experienced myself in BR 3 through 5 is that the higher BR games seem to be extremely quick and one-sided due to the most of the later tech just being downright overpowered. My advice and the advice of some of the more experienced players has been to stay in BR 1 and 2 as those battles typically end up much more balanced with the older tech of the war and are just generally more fun. And I can confirm that this is absolutely an issue as I spent a day playing mostly BR 4 and over half the games I was in ended within 10 minutes and was either an absolute face roll or a death fest for my team. I've been really enjoying staying in BR 2 and just using my silver toward perfecting and optimizing my low BR squad play. This next one is a little bit more of a personal con, but I did think it was worth mentioning, and I think many people would agree with me on this. The menu and general UI of this game is just confusing and too goddamn much. I did play a lot of War Thunder, so it was easier for me to understand at the start, but understanding this menu as a new player has got to be ridiculous. There's just too much all over the place, and it most definitely could stand to be organized better than it currently is, and the in-game UI could look just a little bit nicer. Granted, this game is still in early access. This isn't a huge issue or even as bad as the issues I've listed before this, but it's definitely something to understand going into the game. The menu and UI do not look great and could be improved on a ton. So, final thoughts. I originally tried Enlisted in 2021 and I had a pretty good time with it. I picked it back up recently to play with some of my friends that have been playing, and it has been a blast overall despite some of the issues. The epic feeling of large battles is most definitely captured, and while there is work to be done on the game, it's definitely worth giving it a try as it is free to play. The AI can be a bit annoying. It is a very cool spin to be in control of a squad while you're also on the ground with them. I just hit a bit over 50 hours in the last week and still plan on continuing to play more. Let me know what you guys think below. If you played, I would love to hear what you think about the game, what you think about some of my points, what do you think are some of the issues with the game. And that all being said, thank you guys for watching. Go give the game a shot. If you do, hit me up. I am most definitely down to play with you guys, and subscribe to the channel for more gaming content. Thanks, guys. I love when I see like streams where it's like they'll be like sponsored by like a mobile game or something. You know the one I'm talking about. And like they'll be like advertising the game, but like at the same time they'll kind of just be like, yo guys, please just go get to level 5 in this game so I can like get paid, basically, which is totally fine. But like they're like, it's like they know it's like yeah.